And real Americans have irreconcilable differences with Democrats. That's our focus in tonight's preamble. With their embrace of communism, socialism, and anti-Americanism, the Democrat Party seems to have few friends left in this world. The biased press, enemy nations, weak Republicans. For nearly half a decade, the extreme left has waged an unrelenting, intellectually vacant, and barbarous assault on the American spirit. Judging by the polls, Americans care less about why Democrats are butthurt and are interested instead in stopping the pain Democrats are dishing out to our people. That's why the Democrats' anger over the Supreme Court ruling on Roe versus Wade is falling on deaf ears. The fact is, few people care about tyrants. Who can blame people after one considers the extreme policy positions recently adopted by the Democrat Party? They have worked to do away with our constitutional protections, in particular free speech. They have conducted a direct attack on American prosperity. They push policies that lead to sexual grooming of our children in GovEd. They're pushing to raise our taxes. Their goon squads at Antifa and BLM beat up the Democrats' political opponents, killing innocent people in the process. They cover up atrocities committed by America's enemies like Communist China. They send our money to enemy states. They have declared war on the rule of law at the border and in our streets. And of course, Democrats cheer the killing of babies in the womb. I want to show you the complete meltdown that the left wing is having over the Supreme Court's alleged ruling that overturns Roe versus Wade. First up, since The Daily Show is now unwatchable, leftists are getting their news from The View.
But I will tell you, this is my body. And nobody, you got people telling me I got to wear a mask or don't wear a mask or do this. Everybody wants to tell me what to do, but you won't let me make my decision about my body. You are not the person to make that decision. My doctor and myself.
Wow, the first sign of a cogent thought Whoopi admits there. Left-wingers no longer believe it's her body, her choice. That notion was thrown out the window by Democrats who insisted that women and everybody else wear masks and inject their bodies with new vaccines, else they lose their livelihoods. Next up, Joyless Behar.
Not that I'm surprised. Right. You and I were talking before. Yeah. We're not surprised. We saw this coming. My worry is that this is just the beginning. Next, they'll go after gay marriage and maybe the board, what is it, Brown versus Board of Education? Yeah. They already eroded our voting rights a little bit. Yeah. So I see fascism down the line here. I don't know.
So because the High Court allows the states to determine if they will allow the wanton slaughter of children in the womb, that means that schools are in danger of no longer being integrated? Yeah, I'd like to say that the stupidity lessened when elected folks started flapping their gums. It didn't.
They care about is imposing their extremist view on the rest of the country. That's what the Republicans have been building toward, and it looks like they've about arrived there.
A Salcedo Show axiom states that leftists project qualities onto others that they themselves have in abundance. The 1973 Roe versus Wade opinion forced a culture of death onto America, even when Americans wanted to protect the helpless and voiceless unborn. It is Democrats who imposed their will on others. It's what collectivists do.
That's been my stance. Abolish the filibuster. But when I think about what else the president could do, one option could be through the through the Food and Drug Administration. The president could have the FDA issue regulations to expand access to medication abortion. We need to bring that back into the conversation so that pregnant people could have access to a 2-pill regimen safely and be able to end a pregnancy at home up to 10 weeks.
Pregnant people, not women. Good grief. As Elizabeth Warren says that the GOP is trying to force their will on Americans, here comes Cori Bush detailing how Democrats can force their will on Americans. Again.
War has been declared on the American woman.
This is my favorite. Wow. A war on women, you say? Let me see. Over 63 million babies killed by your Democrats since 1973. Hey, Governor Murphy of New Jersey, how many of those babies were females. And let's not forget how your party is destroying women's sports to accommodate cross-dressers masquerading as transgenders. And wasn't it you, Governor Murphy? Yeah, I think it was. One of 5 left-wing governors who stupidly pushed China virus patients into nursing homes. How many elderly women died? How many did you kill with that decision, Governor Murphy? Of course, Murphy did admit that the Constitution was, quote, above his pay grade. Who's conducting the real war on women, Murphy?
Of the fundamental freedom that women have to make choices about our own bodies and our own futures and our own economic security. And the thing is, Victor, that these justices are acting like this is somehow something that they have the right to change. They do not have the right to change this, which has been settled law.
Slavery was settled law, too. But thank God we didn't listen to Democrats and keep it. And by the way, Congresswoman Jayapal, those of us who value children's lives were saying that the justices didn't have the authority to invent a right to abortion out of thin air back in 1973. But you leftists seem to think justices had the authority back then. Why not now?
We have a great contrast between the Republican vision for America and our vision for America. This isn't your grandfather's Republican Party, America. It's Donald Trump's Republican Party. It's a right-wing Republican Party. It's a party where your children will have less rights than you did.
Oh, that means so much coming from a man whose party has the blood of 63 million unborn babies on its hands. Actually, Senator Schumer, children will have exponentially more rights under conservatives than you left-wing extremists. Chief among those rights, the right to life that your degenerate party seeks to deny America's children, Chuck Schumer. Oh, and speaking of Mr. Schumer.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
You know, Americans would do well not to listen to some left-wing thug who openly threatens 2 sitting Supreme Court justices from the steps of the Supreme Court. You know, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Schumer's office is somehow connected to the leak at the Supreme Court. Now think about it. If he would threaten 2 sitting justices, I wouldn't put anything past this craven anti-American leftists. You know, it kind of brings it all into focus when you see their idiocy put together in one soundbite after another, doesn't it? Mitt Romney and Lisa Murkowski see these anti-Americans and seek to placate and meet them halfway. Real Americans see these people and want to make sure they never get in power over us again. The Democrat Party is dangerous. They're anti-American and full of liars, charlatans, and selfish people. America's goal shouldn't be to accommodate them. Our goal should be to defeat them. It's only fair. They've been trying to defeat our nation for decades.